Leggat.
Hi, I'm Roland Leggat from Insight Australia, and in this session I want to talk to you about Microsoft Forms. During the pandemic, when people were in isolation, the most common thing I got asked by team leaders and managers was, how can I do a quick check-in with my team? In other words, create a quick form or survey that could be surfaced during a Teams meeting, within a Teams chat or a SharePoint site, or even have a link emailed to people so they could fill in a form. Microsoft Forms allows you to create these very complex multi-page or simple quick forms. Now, I see a lot of people using third-party survey tools. My issue there is, once that information has been gathered, that information sits outside your domain and is sitting in a third-party system. I want to be able to keep that information within Office 365 so I can analyze it through Excel or Power BI at a later stage. We can create incredibly complex or simple forms. Let's go and see how we would create one. So here I am in the Forms homepage. I've simply gone to office.com, then clicked on the app launcher in the top left-hand corner and gone through and selected to go to the Forms app. Now, Forms allow me to create grading quizzes, survey forms that I can publish on my website. I can publish internally within Teams meetings. I can publish externally. It's a really powerful little tool that also allows you to keep all of that information within your organization. So from the top left-hand corner, I could create a new form. I could also drop down and create a new quiz. Currently, I've got an employee check-in form. I've got a wellness form. I've got an employee survey. So let's go and check this out, the employee check-in form. All right, so we've got a raft of questions. This is actually made up from a template that I generally use in Teams meetings. And if we go through, we can see we've got a series of questions here. If I click on one of these questions, because I own the form, I can change any of these settings. I can bin any of the components. I can require answers. I can give them multiple answers or only a single answer in this, okay? And we can select the number of options from here. We can also do things like shuffle the options, shuffle the questions. I can give it a subtitle. I can add branching. So branching means if I answered a particular answer, the next question. So you said, how was your experience on our website? My experience was suboptimal. Then they will go to the next question, which would say, well, tell us about what we could improve on our website, okay? So when we go through, we can insert new questions in here, and the questions can be multiple choice, text, rating, date. We can do ranking, net promoter scores, for example. So we can go in and say, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or colleague? And then we can give somebody a rating. But there's lots of different bits of information that we can gather from our staff members or from our customers. We can change the theme on each particular one to make the look and feel nice. We can put images on. We can choose how we're going to collect our responses. So if I click on the Collect Responses tab here, okay, it says, well, who can respond first off? Anyone can respond, because I might publish this on a website, and then I can, if I want to publish it on the website, I can get like a embedded URL for it. I can also get a QR code for it if I was going to put up a poster in my office. Let's say we put up the employee check-in. How are you feeling at the moment in one of our breakout rooms? Or it may be specific to a team or project, and we can say only specific people in my organization could respond. I could shorten the URL to make it look nicer, and you don't have all the $20s in there. I can choose to publish it via Outlook. I can choose to publish it via Teams, and then choose a team. So we might say, well, we've got a team for onboarding, and within onboarding, I could choose to publish that within the general tab. Now that is going to go out to my onboarding team. Once I go and get my responses, it's a little bit of a lonely form. It's got no responses at the moment, but one of my favorite things is the ability to export it to Excel, so that I can use something like Power BI to slice and dice the results and give a graphical representation of the results to my team. One of the things I got asked for most during the pandemic was how to add a form into a meeting. So I could say, right, I want to add a form into a meeting, and we've got a bunch of templates here: poll suggestions, recent polls, dynamic polls. We can choose like a dynamic poll or poll suggestions, and go and save that into the Teams meeting, then publish the form into the Teams meeting, so everybody who's on the meeting feels like they're an active participant in this meeting. Launch an instant poll, yes or no, and we can get some feedback from that Teams meeting, and we'll be able to see the results dynamically within the Teams meeting. So Microsoft Forms is a very flexible tool that allows us to quickly and easily create forms and quizzes for our organization that we can publish in a whole raft of ways. And feedback is so important within an organization and from your customers. So we could go through and add in all of our different quizzes or ratings in here. Use forms within your organization in particular. I believe that letting a third party access information about your organization is not the best. And I would much prefer to be able to keep that information stored within my Office 365 tenant to maintain privacy for my organization and my staff. Have fun with forms.
So that's how easy it is to create a form for your organization. You could also post these forms externally and then use a Power Automate to automate a response to the form. Anyway, the sky's the limit. Check out Microsoft Forms, have some fun with it, create forms for yourself, and then forms you can share with other people in the organization. Thank you for your time and attention today.